Welcome in to Greenville Grit, Greenville residents in touch on 103.7 WTIB. This is the local show that keeps you connected and in touch with the issues that affect what's happening in your community. Greenville Grit is sponsored by Ribeyes, Kid Construction, and Greenville Toyota. Now, here are your hosts for Greenville Grit, Terry Williams and Michael Overton.
Hello and welcome to Greenville Grit. I am Terry Williams.
And I'm Michael Overton, and we have new council member PJ Connolly on today.
Welcome, PJ.
Thank you for inviting me out here.
Congratulations on that recent win, man. There is no doubt you definitely worked for it.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I did work pretty hard. I'm happy to be in the situation I'm in right now.
Well, Terry, it's pretty funny because, again, he lives across the street from me, so I see him, and he's like, I don't know what to do. I'm not knocking on doors. I'm going crazy. But you're putting Christmas decorations up already, so that's good.
Oh, my goodness, that's too early.
Don't get me started on that.
Well, we got to thank the sponsors for the show, and then we're going to get into talk with PJ and kind of find out what he wants to do and what he's hoping to see in our city for the next 2 years. But thank you so much to Greenville Toyota for your continued support. If you're looking for new Toyota or Scion or new used car, go see Craig Gullis and the Greenville Toyota team at 321-3000 across from Fresh Market on Memorial Drive or at greenvilletoyota.com. Check out Ribeyes Steakhouse.
Ooh, like it.
Got to get the M in. So got Christmas parties coming up. Can you only believe 7 weeks?
No, I cannot.
So if you're scheduling a Christmas party, you need a great place to have it. Check out Ribeyes in their Angus Room. They've got a location at the corner of Arlington and Fire Tower in Greenville, as well as in Williamston, and the Overton Group Real Estate Professionals serving all of Eastern North Carolina. Commercial real estate leasing, sales, business brokerage, and property management, and residential brokers too. You can check us out at overtongroup.net or give us a call at 355-7006. We're going to take our first commercial break. Come right back. We'll get into discussions with PJ Connolly, new council member for District 5, City of Greenville. Welcome back to the Greenville Grit. I'm Michael Overton, along with my co-host Terry Williams. We have PJ Connolly, new city council member for District 5. Again, PJ, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you again for inviting me.
You don't even know what to say after what we just talked about in the break. He's like, where are we going with this? So I'll leave you out of this conversation.
We never know either. So.
But Terry and I were just talking at the break about Calvin Mercer's recent e-newsletter, and the Daily Reflector even put it in the paper.
That's right.
About the bridge to somewhere. So I want to talk about the bridge to somewhere. If you're not familiar with it, there was discussion, or Calvin proposed in this newsletter, and it's an old proposal. It's not a new one, so it's not his idea. Let's get that clear first, about putting a bridge across the Tar River to get to River Park North. Well, we did talk about in the Bond Advisory Committee that idea.
We did.
And that idea got nixed quick. Why?
The cost and maybe not even the ability to get it done on the other side.
And that's the thing, is if you know anything about
river.
swampland, if you build a bridge across the river, you're going to stop in the swamp. You've got several hundred yards of elevated deck that has to be built through the woods in a severe and expensive and long permitting process to get to that point. Now, I do agree, and PJ, you did say this, you like the concept.
The concept of it is awesome.
It's great. And so we talked about it with some initial excitement, saying, oh, that will be so cool, we could connect it. But even the city leaders or the people that work for the city, like, we can't do this easily.
Nikki, all of the ones that were present at the bond advisory meeting, it was just not feasible.
But I guarantee, and there was no cost laid out for that, Terry.
No, that's true.
But I can tell you this.
But it was going to be millions.
My gut on this is you could have one heck of a town commons.
Right.
For the cost of one bridge across that river.
Right. Well, and there was discussion about how to get over there, to utilize the connection between the town common when it was developed and to get to River Park North. We talked about connecting it with a walkway attached to the current bridge that goes over, and somehow like a decking walkway or some sort of sidewalk. And there were some great ideas that came up in that discussion, but all of them were expensive. All of them have to, of course, be permitted. And but the bridge
also those ideas that we looked at were like, this is a great long-term idea.
Very long-term.
But it was not your quick, short-term, more affordable things, the things that we can do to increase quality of life.
Right, and don't you remember we even discussed about once you do get over there, what you have to do to get to where, through that area, through that swamp, through that woods.
Well, it drops off in the swamp.
Oh, it's just, it's a kind of a mess.
So I forgot we have city council members sitting over.
What do you think about that, PJ?
I like the concept. It's an interesting proposal, I guess, that was put forth. But I mean, when it comes down to it, it comes down to the cost. I mean, is it going to be cost effective, and is it something that we can do for a good price? And I think that's the determining factor. I mean, if it's something that you do have to extend for an extreme amount of distance, it may not be in our best interest to look at it at this point. I mean, anything that we can do to utilize that space over on the other side of the river would be great, because we have a tremendous amount of space over there, and it would be great to bridge that gap. And it'd be kind of neat to be able to go from the town commons over to River Park North, and a lot of people, a lot of students could use it. There's no transportation that's needed. They can walk across there. But, like I said, at the end of the day, it comes down to, can we afford it or not?
But see, I would rather see us right now, if we're going to sit there and talk about millions and millions of dollars of a bridge to get across the river, why can't we go ahead and update our town common master plan and spend a very small portion of what it would cost to do the bridge to get that place where it needs to be, where it can be an incredible quality of life for everyone in the city of Greenville.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure. I agree. I agree with you on that. I think that there's so much space down there in the town commons. It's just a matter of sitting down and finding out what is the best way to utilize that space. I mean, there's a lot of space. We've got a wonderful natural resource of the Tar River that's right there, and we need to find a way that we're going to attract people to the downtown area and to stay down there. I was talking to somebody the other day, and one of the things we mentioned where, when you go downtown to eat, you go down to Free Boot Friday, you go down to the Umbrella Market, but what attracts them to stay down there after that event's over? We want families, we want individuals to go down there and have a reason to walk down to the river, for an attraction. And that's kind of what we have to look at, see what the best option is going to be.
We got new benches.
We do have new benches, very expensive benches.
But,
I think I had always wished, and of course it's not going to ever happen now, they've placed the old Green Street Bridge where it is, but I had always thought how wonderful that would have been as a walkover. Of course, you'd had to add a lot of things to it. It would have been very, very expensive, but I am still glad they saved that, because I thought that was quite a great piece of history. Well, I served on that original town common, and it's town common, not with an S,
Whatever.
Town Common Master Plan. And originally the estimated budget of how it was originally drawn was about $13 million to do it as it was done at that time. And there's some very good pieces, but that was done 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago now. I don't know how long.
When we looked at it, it was almost 10 years ago.
It's been a while, and it does need to be redone. It does need to be updated, and even though people don't want to talk about other items, such as even a nice restaurant or some sort of a boutique hotel or something added, something else probably is going to have to be incorporated, number one, for the cost, and number two, for the attraction, to bring people down. It's a large piece, 23 acres? Very large piece of land that could still be done correctly and still keep it in a park-type setting, I think. So I'm sure there'll be lots of opinions when it actually gets down to developing it like it should be.
The problem is when you say the word develop,
I know, they take it the wrong way. They take it the wrong way.
Oh, you're going to completely take all the green space away and fill the entire thing up with buildings.
And that's not the point. That is not
anyone's intention.
No, it's not the intention.
The intention is to create a park
Right.
where people with families want to go. And
But that
spend time
offers
and to have
amenities.
amenities for them to
That's
enjoy
right.
while they're there.
That's right.
Other than a bunch of grass and a couple of benches.
Yeah, because people can go there now for that, and they don't go. Just a small handful goes.
I even thought of the concept. It'd be nice if we had another farmers market down there.
Right. You
that
could do all
space.
kinds of things.
We've gone down to Charleston, South Carolina, and they've got a wonderful farmers market. It kind of
Right.
does like a big almost square or rectangle all the way around the entire park. And I said, how neat would that be to have something large down there that'll attract
Right.
people on a regular basis? I mean, that's a small little piece too, but that's one of the
Right.
options that I think would attract some more people down there.
Well, I read the Bless Your Hearts every now and then. And one of the Bless Your Hearts today was, I guess, in response to someone who said the city of Greenville had something to do with the mattress stores and everything going across the street from each other. And this person was calling them out, saying, how crazy are you to think that the city of Greenville is involved in that? They don't get involved. He said, however, there really isn't anything to do in this town besides eat and sleep. And so, that is a problem. And I think that's
Right.
one of the things that we talked about. How do you create things? We have 5 or 6 football weekends a year here.
Right.
That's our economic driver. We've already proven that that's our economic driver. But you've got a bunch of other weekends that we need to really have exciting things going on to keep families in town on those weekends and having things for college students to do, having things for
That's right.
young professionals to do, having things for families to do.
Well, there's also historical significance in the area of the town common that we were trying to keep and restore that meant a lot. So there's a lot going on down there that really could attract a lot of different residents to visit the area.
Well, PJ, you're new. You starting. I think your first meeting is going to be in December.
That's right.
Is that correct?
Yeah,
Is
I
that
think
when
we
you
get sworn in December 7th.
That's right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, first goal was what? To help shrink the meetings?
Shrink the meetings and lower our taxes. No.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a good idea.
Well, but you've got something there, because one of the things that you did run on was really sharpening the pencil. I believe you handed pencils out.
We did at the polls.
And what did it say on there?
That we'll always keep, when it comes to your tax dollars, I will always keep my pencil sharpened.
So how do you do that over the next 2 years? How do you make sure that pencil stays sharp, and maybe some ideas to do it? Because one of the things that we did say as a bond advisory committee with this road, all right, the road bond passed. That was great. But there was another part to that road bond, two parts to it that we said had to happen. One was the 1 cent of the 2 cent tax increase had to come back. That did happen. The other thing that we also said had to happen was they had to fund it to $2.5 million a year, which is what Kevin Mulligan said it would take for us to continue to maintain our roads, and that we don't have to keep doing bonds every 5 or 10 years to keep our roads up.
For maintenance.
So you hear, I think Rick Smiley was the one that may have said it, but the money's not there to do that. I think they're putting in $1 million right now. So we're funding it less than 1/2 of what is required to even maintain our roads. How do we do that and avoid raising taxes?
Well, I mean, you're going to have to go through the budget process. I mean, one of the main things that you have to focus on is you've got to be able to go through there, and you've got to vet all the departments at the city level. I mean, that's something that's a necessity, and I don't think it's been done in the last 2 years where they've actually sat down with each department head and talked to them. And, luckily, I think in the next week or two, I will be able to sit down and meet with all the departments, not on the budget process, but I get to talk to each of the heads and kind of understand what's going on, where they're at, and discuss a few things with them, which is going to be nice. But when it comes down to it, we have to go through the budget process, and we have to make sure that we have enough money in each department. And if we have extra money, it may be something that we can go ahead and take a little money from one department and put it towards our roads or some of our specific
in saying
needs.
that, you're going to scare the heck out of a department head that his budgets are going to be cut. I mean, it's famous. When you get budgets, especially municipalities, they're very protective of their turf. They're very protective of their budgets. How do we get past that to make it where they won't to give it up?
Well, I mean, it comes down to a give and take. I mean, if there's a way that we can, cut something from someone's budget, I'm in favor of giving it back to the employees in that budget, that are affected by that budget. Some of the employees that, it might be an incentive for them to say, hey, we may be able to cut a little bit here and save some money for the benefit of the whole city. And we may be able to, in turn, give some of that money back to them as a bonus at the end of the year. That might be something that they might be interested in doing.
So I like that.
Also,
I've been
I
saying
do
that
too.
for the last year.
And I think you can also look at the if they've had any excess. If there's a track record of a little bit of excess, then you
They're
also
going to
might
use their money. There is no excess.
Well, you don't know that though. Maybe I'm just saying.
What
just
you need
look
to do
at
is
it.
look at the expenditures, and if you see
That's
a big
right.
expenditure pile in the fourth
See
quarter, or
what's
actually,
going
I'm sorry,
on.
it's June
That's
to
right.
June.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see a big expenditure pile from May, June, or April, May, June, you can tell they're getting rid of money so that they can avoid
they
those
need to
budget
operate
cuts.
it like we do our own businesses and just back off sometimes.
Yeah.
Just back off spending sometimes.
They have backed off
if
of
you
spending,
need it
which is why
somewhere
we have
else.
such bad roads, and we just had to pass the
That's where
$16
they
million
need to divert
bond.
it, though, to roads. They're going to have no choice. Well, I am just really hoping when you all get into your planning session that one of the first things you start talking about is the bond schedule that we all suggested in the advisory committee. And that won't be all decided in your first planning session. I know that. But I am hoping that it's a serious discussion of talking about what's going to be going, forward for the future, because that's important. We can't. This one bond isn't going to get it.
Yeah.
It's just barely starting.
Yeah, we're already behind for this year for the schedule for the road repairs. I mean, we're $1.5 million behind this year, and next year, if we keep up the same schedule, we're going to be behind $1 million.
Exactly.
And then next year, we're behind another $500,000. Next thing you know, we're behind $3 million.
So that's got to stop. I mean,
Yeah.
because we passed the bond to fix the roads, not to maintain the roads.
No. According to Calvin's newsletter, we passed the bond because we did want more greenways. I don't know if you caught what he was saying, but that it was a go-ahead from the voters that they were all about the greenways. I thought that was very interesting because I don't believe that's why the bond passed. I believe the bond passed because the voters that voted for it were so concerned about our roads, and the greenways were tacked in like we were against. And I'm not saying that wasn't some of them that voted for it obviously did want the greenways, but I hope that this council coming in won't take that as a complete go ahead, and we'll really concentrate on roads, because we've got to do something about it, because this bond is only going to fix a very small portion.
Yeah, I can tell you, knocking on doors, and I knocked on a lot of doors.
2,355.
That's exactly right.
208 miles. You are the man when it comes to that.
But I can tell you, knocking on those doors, the main thing that people are focused about with that bond were the streets.
That's right.
They want the streets fixed. As far as everything else that was in that bond, I don't think they could care either way. Some of them were in favor, some were not. But the main thing that they kept telling me was, we need to fix our roads.
Right.
And you walk up and down Martinsboro and you see, what happened to that road and how much it deteriorated. Walking up there, that was a surreal moment, because I was out there while it was happening. I hit Martinsboro right when they were tearing it up and remilling it. And I mean, it's one of those things, like, you don't want the rest of Greenville to look like this, and we don't want to have to. And they're still out there working on it. It's been over a month.
Yeah, my truck fell off of 6 inches of it last night. I made the wrong turn.
Well, when I was on my way here today, this isn't a city. 10th Street, though, has developed some of the worst potholes. The state's going to have to come and do some patchwork soon.
But our city, and this would be you, Dickinson Avenue will be the perfect example. We're going to need to lend that money to the state.
Yeah.
To make those repairs to Dickinson, because they're talking several years off before Dickinson gets done.
We can't wait that long.
I mean, that road, Hughes is loving it.
No, really.
You got to realign your car every time you go down the road.
Well, the city won't love it if everybody starts sending them the bills.
That's right.
That's true. That's true. Well, PJ, I know one of the things you said was sharpening that pencil. But another thing you really ran on too was economic development. What do you see there? I had the opportunity to be interviewed by WNCT, and if you hadn't had a chance to look at the interview, go to WNCT.com and look at it from a couple of days ago. But one of the things that they asked me is, do you think our city has really had a focus on economic development? My response to them was, if they had a focus on it, that department would not have been vacant since April. And I know that I keep hearing we're just weeks away from hiring. We're just weeks away from hiring. But the other thing the guy said was, or Brandon Goldberg said was, 2 years ago this department didn't exist. Well, when the top 10 cities in the state, 8 of them, not including us, 8 of them have it, and 2 of them didn't at the time. We were one of them. You've got to do that to compete. You got to bring jobs in here. And people get so confused when they see a Hobby Lobby or a Publix being built. Oh, the economy's great. That, to a degree, is correct. It does mean you've got growth and things are going on. And I never said Greenville wasn't growing. My response to him was, Greenville's not growing to the level that it should be growing, especially in comparison to some of the larger cities in our state. How do we get economic development going in this town? I mean, what do you think your focus is going to be?
Economic development starts with jobs. It really does. It starts with good quality paying jobs, and that's one of the focuses we really need to worry about. And that's one of the things I ran on, and being a politician, I'd like to actually follow through with what I ran on. And my plans are, we need to go ahead and fill that vacancy. I keep hearing the same thing too. We're a couple weeks away, or it's about to be announced, so we're gonna have a new hire. And I hope the person we do hire is ready to get started, because we are very, very far behind some of the other cities, larger cities in our state that need quality jobs. I mean, we have so many people that are underemployed right now, or just flat out not employed. I mean, last I checked, our unemployment rate was 6.8%. The national average is 5.1%. So we're further behind than the rest of the country. We need to be able to bring good quality jobs in here, and it's not just the government that needs to do that.
Everyone says we want to bring good quality jobs.
It's not just the government that needs to do that. We don't need the government to step in and say, this is what you need to do. It needs to be a public-private partnership. We need private people that are business entrepreneurs in our area to get together and work with the economic development department and bring jobs here. We have so many successful people in this city that have done so many things and contributed to the city. They would be assets to be able to sit down and say, hey, listen, this is what we need to do. This is what's successful. And they could help some of these young entrepreneurs that are looking to open their businesses here.
We need more technology jobs. We need higher paying jobs. Attracting them.
And that's what my argument is. That is the difference between what you're seeing. A Publix job or a Hobby Lobby job is a $10 an hour job.
Right.
What I'm referring to are your main pharmaceutical jobs that may pay $50,000, $60,000 a year, your DNA lab jobs, because those jobs, they're the ones that work to create stuff that we ship outside of Greenville, but they're also the jobs that help create the jobs in the service sectors.
That's right.
So I think it's a good time to take our second break. We'll do that, and we'll come back and finish up with PJ Conley. So be back in a 2.
Eastern.
Welcome back to our show. We've had a great conversation today with PJ Conley, our new District 5 representative on our city council. We're really proud of you and all the hard work you did to get elected, and we're looking forward to all the great things that you're going to bring to our council. Just wanted to know, was there anything else you want to talk about today and tell the public what you're looking forward to?
Well, I mean, I definitely want to say I'm thankful for everybody that supported me along the way. I'm so lucky to have so many people that stepped out and, helped me out financially, helped me out through social media, helped me out at the polls, most importantly, to put me over the top. So I'm so thankful for that. Also, I'm really looking forward to representing the people of District 5. I mean, I'm really excited that they chose me. I hope that they saw that I was willing to put the hard work in and the dedication to go out there and meet them, understand what their concerns were. And that was one of the things I really wanted to do during the campaign. I wasn't out there, looking to spend a lot of money. I wasn't out there to look to, get a lot of publicity out of it. I just wanted to go out and meet the people and have them understand where I stood, and understand that I did care about them. And I wanted a personal relationship with them as well. So,
right. Well, a little bit. What I'm hoping for, getting back just for a quick moment to economic development and replacing that person. There was some discussion that someone had been hired for that job and then they changed their mind for whatever reason. But I'm hoping with this new election and some fresh insight on our new city council that this will be encouraging to someone coming into that economic development position that will be very helpful with the new council, because I think there was some dissension there, and not for whatever reason, because there wasn't full-blown from council members support for that economic development position. And that may have been a problem with someone coming in from another place wanting to be sure that they had good support on that job. And I think between you and McLean and, of course, some of the current council members, they will see that they'll have that support, and maybe that job will get filled in the next couple of weeks, and we can get started.
Well, it's not just about filling a job either. We got to fill it with the right person.
That's exactly right. And there's been no planning now, and that's what we're talking about, and what Brandon on TV, should have brought out, that there have been some things opening, and we've got some things, but there's no long-term planning been done in the last 2 years. The things that we have seen come to fruition in these last 2 years was planned earlier.
Yeah.
And that's what's bothered a lot of people. And so I'm looking forward to your new ideas and the new person who fills that position's new ideas about how we can move forward and
a council member cannot take credit for a Publix coming to town.
I wouldn't think so.
A council member, however, or the city can help take credit for an expansion of a main pharmaceutical.
Right.
They can do that.
Right. Because
they can have a major impact, and an economic development department can also have that impact.
That's right. That's right. So I think we'll have some good things to look forward to. And I just wanted to mention, too, about at the meeting Monday night, maybe you could comment about the disc golf. They seem to pass the Tar River Park real quickly. The master plan for that was passed?
Yeah. I read a little bit about it. They did pass that plan. That's another private-public partnership there, and the disc golf will be fully funded by.
And what most people don't realize is McLean Godley is the one who got all that going.
Yes, he did.
That's
he did.
Right.
He really worked hard on that. I know. Talking to him several times, he had put a lot of time and a lot of effort into that, and he really was the reason that was pushed through. And fortunately, like I said, that's a private-public partnership right there, where that's going to be fully funded by private dollars. So that's a fantastic thing for the city, and then the city can focus on some of the other elements that they passed in that in the plan, and it won't cut take any of our tax dollars
Yeah,
out.
and I think this will be a small example of some of the things that could happen at the town common, and maybe give everybody a little taste of what they could look forward to in some of these areas that could be developed down there. And I think this is a great way to bring the community together, especially in that particular district. You know.
Yeah, I mean that was traditionally like a dead space down
Right.
there, and now you have a place where college students and other individuals and the residents in the city can go down there and enjoy those amenities. And there's a vast amount of amenities that they've passed in there, which is really nice.
Exactly.
But you also need to make sure, PJ, that the current parks we have, including this new one, are maintained.
Exactly.
And that has been one of my biggest frustrations, is the maintenance has been lacking. So,
I agree with that.
well, first result I'll look forward to seeing from you is how short the meeting is going to be in December. We do appreciate you coming on and really do wish you luck. We're proud of what you've done, and I just think it's cool.
I do too.
Especially calling you a friend and a neighbor too. So thank you again for the sponsorship from Greenville Toyota, Ribeye Steakhouse, and the Overton Group, and thank you for joining in. You can catch us again on Friday night, 6:30, and Saturday morning at 9:30 on Cable 7. Until next week, we'll see you back on the Greenville Grit.